Let's talk a little basketball now. The other day I did a Justine Pissott video that actually did work very well, was received well by all of you, which was kind of cool to see a pure basketball video as we head into the WNBA season, get some attention amidst all the drama from this off season. And we've got some new news, and it's something that's new from the CBA that isn't very straightforward, at least in all the discussions I've seen about it. But I think we've got it figured out. At first, I thought, I don't like that they did this before even getting to training camp. This made me think they don't have her in their plans. The more I dug, the more I learned. I actually think this may be good overall for Justine. So let's dig into this. What the heck is going on here? Indiana Fever signed Justine Pissott to player development contract. What? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. Appreciate all your support. I'm losing my voice in case you cannot tell at this point, but I'm going to power through. So, look, first of all, I won't go into all the stuff about from the first video because obviously I broke down her game a little more in that one. But as I said there, I think she is one of the steals of the draft. Somehow, now again, it's part of the friends and family plan. It just worked out in the Fever favor this time because she went to Vandy, where Stephanie White had a disastrous regime as head coach. No one ever seems to want to talk about that. And if Caitlin Clark is allowed to be Caitlin Clark and Justine Pissott finds her way onto the team, an actual plays games, you are going to see something unbelievable with the way she moves, the way she shoots. I think I have it on the thumbnail. I messed up a typo. I think I put her sixth in the nation. I believe she's actually seventh in women's college basketball in three-point shooting percentage. By the way, doing it taking 6.6 three-point attempts per game. So not exactly, not exactly a player who's chucking up one or two a game. She's doing all this, all the movement you saw, the outside shooting, getting to the bucket, all at 6'4". And she's going to play next to an elite playmaker in Caitlin Clark, who gets a lot of attention, as we know. That could be a very, very scary combo for the WNBA if the Fever don't screw it up. Now, let's get into this development player thing. Now, my reaction, a lot of other people thought was, well, wait, you're already relegating her to this development contract thing, right? The two players they can bring on separate from the 12 that they roster. It's like, okay, so you're not even giving her a chance to roster. And we're going to get into that in a minute. You can. I mean, it can happen later. So that's saying it's not a permanent thing for the season. She could even play some games. Apparently, she gets like $750 a week, then prorated minimum for each game, which turns out to be about $6,000. I believe now I've saw where it said, max 24 games total from development players, but I believe that is split 12-12. That Justine is, while she's a development player, can get a maximum of 12 game appearances for the season. Okay. But she can be activated and put on the actual roster, right? So it's not that now she's a development player and she is limited to 12 games, period. So with this happening, she's kind of like I guess one way to look at it is like a practice squad player in the NFL for, I think, the next 14 days since she was signed. She's basically completely off limits to other teams. The other thing, by the way, that complicated this is first round picks now get guaranteed contract, right? So Raven Johnson has a contract. Okay, she has a contract. So that is part of it. What if we dig into it a little more? Okay, WNBA developmental roster spots, an interesting new scenario. Leave it to the WNBA to complicate everything. So let's just dig in a little bit. This is about the coaches year in, year out. And they talked about Amber Cox said, year in, year out, we've seen it. You have good, young, talented players not make rosters, and there just weren't enough roster spots. And now we've got these two development spots with two additional teams coming in the league, three more down the road. It just allows us to develop players again. Now, you know what else does? a development league, right? Like the G League in the NFL, in the NBA. And I've talked about this before that that's something maybe unrivaled could be spun into, or maybe athletes unlimited, because that is, well, it's not in the summer. It's not in the summer. Why am I was just going to say it's in the summer. I don't know why. But that's 5-on-5 basketball. That could be something that could be a development league as well. Okay, we talked about the money. Here's the other thing: they will practice. They'll participate in all normal team activities outside of games. Okay, so that's important, dude. Getting at least that experience with these players, being around it, learning how to conduct yourself as a professional player. So that's a big deal as well. Teams can still sign replacement or hardship players as well if they don't want to bring these development players. Say maybe they don't want to throw them into the deep end if they don't have to. They don't want to use up, part of their 12 games because of an injury if they don't feel like that player's ready for, a game scenario and so forth. So as Amber Cox said, you still have the ability, if a player gets injured, to add a player via hardship. So the development pool is truly there to develop those players. It's not meant to necessarily be a stopgap due to injury. So that's really nice. And then it goes into what I said about the, shooting 42 plus. I rounded up. What can you say? From 3-point range, seventh in the women's college basketball, 6.6 attempts per game. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. It says the Fever assigned her directly to the developmental squad in order to protect her rights, Cox said, and ensure she stays within the Fever organization, because she would have been a long shot, they said, to make the standard Fever roster, which I think is wrong. That's where I think we have a problem. We've got the nine players that probably going to make the team. Michaela Timpson, second year of a rookie contract. Raven Johnson's, going to make it as well. She's going to be the backup to Caitlin Clark, and then have a backup to her who's also going to have a backup, which with potentially another backup, because I think they have 87 guards on the team, most of them under 5'10". We wanted to lock Justine in. Cox said she's a bit of a unicorn. Man, do I sound monotonous right now? Because my voice. Anyway, now see what you made me do. I jump skip. She still has some growth. Yeah, all rookies have growth areas. Absolutely. Now see, and this is why signing her now allows us to do is, instead of putting her in a standard player contract, we get to the end of camp and waiving her, then you put her on the waiver wire for somebody else to pick up. She's already with us. And so it gives us a bit more control over her destiny. Now, here's the key to that, right? It's not total control. Teams are able to sign players to a standard contract off of other teams' developmental squads. Here's where I get worried and why I'm like, man, just give her the rookie contract, put her on that 12-player roster. That's where she should be. You have way too many guards, not enough bigs, and this is one. I mean, she's listed as a guard, but she's a guard forward, and the way she moves, if you watch the other videos, she can play in the post. So, she's basically a 2 through 5 player. Talk about versatility. But if another team wants to sign Pissott to a standard contract, now the Fever can match that and put her on the standard roster. I have doubts and questions as to whether they would make the right decision and do that, because that would then make her part of the 12-player roster, right? Absolutely interesting stuff. Another thing to pay attention to is what they end up doing if someone says, hey, that Fever Friends and Family plan, they're not very good at what they're doing. We're going to take Justine Pissott, because I don't think they're going to protect her and put her on the 12-player roster. To that point, I want to finish up with this. If Justine Pissott was exactly who she is, but she went to, say, South Carolina, UConn, she was a Husky and did that instead of playing at Vandy, we would not be having this conversation. We'd be hearing all about how she's a winner and she played for the right coaches. There'd be a 0% chance that this, again, 6'4" sharpshooter who can move, there'd be no talk of her being cut before training camp. She would have been drafted in the first round. But she didn't go to UConn. She didn't go to South Carolina. And we have an incompetent front office who doesn't scout, incapable of scouting. So this is good overall, I think. Obviously, way better than what we think. What most likely would have happened would have been her getting cut. But are they going to sign her if someone else tries to take her? That is going to be the question. If they do that, I will sing praises. Let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe, hype, notification bell. I will talk to you all later.